We are live. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, September 23rd. I'm going to apologize. We are late. That's me again, trying to figure out all these many things that Sean left me behind. I think I might have No, I know what I didn't do there. Nope, that's not the right one. Nope, that's not the right one either. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I figured out my Star Wars sounds. I have a special guest on because I obviously can't be alone with the toys by myself. I have our parking enforcement officer, Erin. Erin, you want to say your last name for me so I don't butcher this? Urquhart. I'm going to get that by the end of today. We also have our moderator in the background, so I should be able to manage this. I'm not sure why it's not streaming on TikTok. Moderator, do you see it appearing on TikTok for me? No, it's not appearing. Amazing. So this is going super well for me already. It's starting off fantastic. I gotta be careful of the words I use. Okay, so we are on Instagram.
Oh, that's TikTok.
Oh no, someone's just joined. So can I be seen? Stream setting. No. People. Traffic moderator has
she joined.
Okay, so what are we seeing? That's what we gotta know.
You want me to check?
That would be great.
I'm gonna check.
Traffic. I'm on it. There was this, and it says we're live. No, we're definitely live. I don't know. It's just not appearing on my screen, but I can see myself on my phone.
Oh yeah, me too.
Okay, so we're here. We're just gonna ignore that the screen's not working, and that's awesome. So good morning, everyone. I apologize for the technical issues I am having. Clearly, I should not be left alone with the toys. So yeah, good morning, Tian. I'm gonna apologize. I also don't have my glasses on, and now that I got Erin sitting to my left, I can't see that screen. But Brandon, good morning from Key Largo, Florida. Let's have a safe and fun day. That's excellent. I agree. So I brought in, I don't know if you guys see the graphics, and I spent a ton of time trying to come up with amazing graphics. I put a TIE fighter in a bike lane in downtown in the city of Toronto. I'm going to tell you, it may not be the most accurate downtown, and the TIE fighter may look a little bit off, but you get the theme of it. Because everything is around the Ask a Star Wars Cop. I don't know if it should be Ask a Star Wars Cop or Ask the Star Wars Cop. I'm going to leave that as it right now. The only reason I'm going to leave that as is too is Sean created that for me on his parting.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to fix that. But we're going to leave it. He did fix my last name though. It does have the proper spacing. Oh, and hold on, Erin. I think I do have something for you. Where are you?
I do. Yeah, he has
Yes, he has one. There we go.
There I am.
There we go. And it is spelled correctly, so it clearly wasn't spelled by me. So there we go. That's who's guest starring.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she's just awesome. And she's here. She's going to put up with me for today. Here's hoping that this doesn't go terribly and she'll come on back. But Erin, if I was to park my TIE fighter in a bike lane, what would that fine be in the city of Toronto?
I don't know for that specific. It would be $200, but it would probably fly out of there pretty quick before I got a ticket on it.
Appreciate the flying out. Aloha from the voiceover cop. So if you don't know Sean, my predecessor, the man who created this legacy that he's left me behind, I'm enjoying for every second. It's Sean is on. So aloha, Sean. I'm not quite sure, Erin, you're getting people from TikTok saying hey to you, but I'm not quite sure why the TikTok chat's not popping up over here on this screen, but we're gonna go with it.
Yeah, Sean, I don't know if you can help us. No, it's
Sean,
we're having
realized I didn't actually hit technically the go live. Oh, there we are. Now we're on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get this, Sean. I promise you by the end of 2026, I'll be all over this as the next host comes on and I go back to doing what I do. Where do I find my ticket online if I lost the paper one?
That's what question. I don't know if that's for me or for you, but for me, you can just type in your license plate on the City of Toronto.ca/APS. That's where you go to pay your City of Toronto parking tickets. And as long as you know your license plate, any tickets that you have outstanding should pop up.
Excellent. I'm going to say that question was for you because it came from the same person who acknowledged you and didn't acknowledge me. I don't know, Erin. I feel like you're a little bit lower.
I know. I'm trying to.
We got to.
I know. I look very short.
Moderator, can you bring in a phone book?
A booster seat.
A booster seat.
This is.
I feel like she looks so short to me, folks. She's.
I can't even.
She's actually comparable height to me. Whereas when you saw me and Sean, we were not comparable. I felt like Harry Potter when he met the very large man who came to take him. When I'm beside Sean. So yeah.
can like sit crisscross applesauce.
Good morning, Emma. I appreciate your comment about, I hope you know you're both such an amazing human beings and so loved and appreciated. Thank you, Emma. I will definitely tell Erin that she is loved and appreciated. And I'm going to tell my mom. I'm going to quote that one and take it home to my mom. So, yeah.
Yeah. What was your question, Big Mac? I don't
Wow,
know.
my question was way better. Big Mac, I apologize. I am limited by what I can see on the screen, and unfortunately, I didn't see. And I can see our traffic moderator has asked what your question is too. Big Mac, if you can put it back in, that would be great because you need to understand. So, I am slightly overwhelmed by being in the studio. That's why I brought Erin in, and the stuff just keeps coming on TikTok. So all I keep seeing is just nonstop joining, and so. I may miss things from time to time, and that's why I have our moderator, and that joining thing just never stops.
Yeah, try not to pay attention to it.
I'm going to try not to pay attention to it. I think my eyes may roll in the back of my head. But we do have from Julie on YouTube. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Erin. Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate that. Erin, if I talk too loud, just tell me. I can fade myself down, and we'll make you louder and stuff. Maybe I should lower myself so that, in proportion to how you're seated.
I tried to raise myself a bit by like sitting crisscross applesauce, but I think I just might lose circulation in my hips if I do that for an hour or so.
Someone is asking, oh, look, we have a question on Instagram, which I'm going to move the mic a little bit so I can see better. Is there a limitation on traffic tickets, or are they kicked out of the system, not valid anymore after a period of time? So great question, Dame Dash. I'm going to be honest with you. I just fought last week, or someone challenged me, I guess, on a ticket I issued in November of 2020. Ooh. So is there a time limit? So if you were to go and not showing up on the stream. Yeah, thank you, moderator. I've noticed that too. I'm trying to keep up with it. So you as an individual, your ticket, so you can challenge your ticket. I believe it's within the first 15 days. You can challenge it. You can plead. There's options on the back of your ticket. You'd have to see. To be honest, I haven't been on the road in 3 years. I've been off. I was working at headquarters, but there's options on the back of that ticket. And in that, you can exercise your options. However, is there a limitation? So depending to the courts and where you are and what municipality, there is a charter thing that can be challenged. We should ideally be fighting tickets within a year of issuance. At one point, it became further than a year. And then if you had a paralegal or you knew how to challenge it under the charter, you could put a charter challenge. It's called 11B. You could challenge it, and they would say if it's undue amount of time, like it's too long, essentially that ticket would be tossed. However, if you're found guilty, you can. So I'm assuming my 4-year ticket was someone who reopened it. Maybe they were found guilty before. The problem is that person ends up, it was a stop sign. I was big on stop signs back in the day. He would have gotten convicted now of that ticket 4 years later on the offense of improper stop at traffic signal or something. Was the alternate they gave him. I think it was to avoid points. However, your points typically only stay on your driver's license for 2 years. But yeah. So I hope that answers your question. I'm going to try to look at.
I'm looking at the chat as well.
Okay.
So if you want to pay attention to this screen, I can help with that screen, and we will do teamwork.
Thank you, Erin. Are you going to be here all week?
Well, I am here until Friday, and then I'm out of here.
Okay, so
I'm on vacation literally next week.
We're going to try to do another show this week. It won't be Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm going out for what's called School Safety Patroller Program, or at least that's the goal. If you don't know what the School Safety Patroller Program is, and I know I talk really fast, I'm going to try to pause myself and slow myself down. But the Canadian Automobile Association has what's called the School Safety Patroller Program. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Some of you may have been patrollers. We have officers in this building who are previous patrollers. The program itself has been going on for 95 or 97 years. It's a fantastic program. In the province of Ontario, over 20,000 kids participated. And essentially, they're helping kids get to and from school. So they become almost like crossing guards, but they never actually enter the intersection. It's a great way to create little leaders in our community. I know when I was a community school liaison officer, I originally had one school, and in about 2 years, I was able to grow it to a dozen schools. So these could be kids helping with park and rides, so like a kiss and go kind of thing. They could be helping with a crosswalk, so they'll assist with a crossing guard. They always stay on the sidewalk. They essentially block the kids and open them when it is safe for the kids to cross. It's an amazing program. We haven't been, as a Toronto Police Service, haven't been involved for a number of years, just pre-COVID, I think. But we're slowly going to get back into it. So I'm going to actually go see a school on Wednesday. And the best part is it's a school that I brought on board when I was a community school liaison officer. So I'm going to be headed up to a public school in my old division, which was 12 division. I worked in 12 division. If you're not familiar with it, it is Black Creek and Chathui. I worked there for 15 years. But someone else, Richard says, good morning, Peter and Erin.
Good morning.
Good morning. Question, if there are 2 left turn lanes, are commercial vehicles prohibited from using the furthest left lane? I lived in Ottawa and some have no truck signs, but also some others don't, similar in GTA. If there's a no truck sign, you can't, it's prohibited. So you wouldn't be able to make that left. I'm going to tell you in general, the truck, depending if it's a transport truck, they're not going to pull into the furthest left lane because they need that wide berth to make sure they can ensure that they can make that left turn. But if there is a sign that says prohibited by truck, so you're seeing what looks like a red Ghostbuster sign is the best way I can say it. And instead of having a ghost inside of it, it has a large truck. It's a prohibited turn. It's prohibited for them to be in that lane. You'll see it sometimes on the highway and stuff, usually to the furthest left, that they've not to be in that lane. Thunder Bay's 4 school boards are joining the CA Patroller program. Thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate that. I know it's an ongoing program. I was part of the Santa Claus parade when they hit their 90th anniversary. So I got to march as a police officer with a whole bunch of students wearing their school safety patroller program. And they even had a float that was a school bus. It was excellent. It's been a long ongoing partnership of like 35 plus years, and we're getting back into it. So I'm really excited to be doing that. Yeah, folks, if you're looking for ways of empowering kids in your community and you're at a school and you have kids who are, it's grades 5 to 8. And it's a great opportunity and stuff. I'm a huge advocate for it. I think we need to empower kids and give them an opportunity to become leaders in the community. And so this is something they do before and after school. They come in like 15 minutes early, and it's pretty amazing. And it also really helps calm traffic in the area because everyone sees these little kids wearing these little safety vests. It's awesome. And I love taking a good selfie with them, which you'll probably see on Wednesday. If I go to the training, I will take a selfie with the kids. And I'm really super excited to go to that school because that particular principal has not responded to a DM for me in like a year. So now I'm coming for you. So yeah, do we have any questions?
Yes, I got a couple lined up for you here. So this is on TikTok from Bonkers, if you are still in the room, Bonkers, or on the channel. Is it illegal to drive along / on the white line on the right of the lane? My employer says yes.
Is it illegal to drive on that white line? No.
Okay. Yeah, like the solid white line.
The solid line, no.
Yeah, that, okay.
It's not illegal to drive, as far as I'm aware of, it's not illegal to drive on that line. If you drive beyond it so that you're going onto the shoulder and stuff and you're driving to pass others, then yes, you'd be illegal. But driving on the white line, so for instance, if your tire is just riding it, no, not necessarily. It's not ideal. You should be driving in the center of the lane, but
here's another question for you. As a G2 driver, how many points will I lose if I fail to stop on the right and on my phone? You're doing a whole lot of things they shouldn't be doing there, sir or ma'am or whoever you are.
If you're a G2 driver and you're on your cell phone, so you would lose the exact same amount of points as a fully licensed driver. However, as a G2 driver's license, there'd be a greater penalty put against you. And you put your driver's license at risk. So for instance, so for a cell phone, it's 6 points. At conviction is 3-day suspension. And I think the fine, I looked it up, I think it was like $650, if I'm not correct on that. It's in the $600 range. It's a really bad ticket. Do yourself a favor, Bluetooth. I don't know how many, I still blown away by how many people I see on their cell phones to their ear. I don't know of a car that hasn't been made unless I don't even know if that's an option. Maybe if you're getting one of those, AliExpress imports, like those little pickups, and Bluetooth's not a thing, and you thought it was going to be an awesome vehicle, and it's somehow passed the safety, then yeah. Oh, I like that. From Basharat, I'm going to apologize if I said that wrong. Morning, Sir Peter. I'm not a sir, but I appreciate that. I haven't been knighted yet, but Erin, can we look into that? Fast drive could be your last drive, so walk safely, drive carefully. Traffic services. Oh, from Punjab, Pakistan.
Wow, thanks for tuning in.
Wow, we have viewers from across the world here, folks.
We got people from Trinidad and Tobago.
They clearly came for Erin because when I ran this show last week, I didn't get anyone from Pakistan, but that's fine. It's clearly Erin on here. I'm assuming, I'm always interested in how parking enforcement works outside of the GTA. Like in York region, I don't believe they have parking enforcement. They just do it by bylaw.
So York region, they do well because my fiance used to live in York region, and yeah, they do have parking enforcement, but it's not like under the police umbrella like us. I think you're right. It's city bylaw that come and do it, but they have like you can't leave your car on the street at all overnight. You get like like we always had to move the car from the street onto like the little driveway boulevard. Because you would wake up with like a $70 to $80 ticket there. Yeah. Same within Markham as well. So that's also York region. Yeah, that's York region as well, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the city of Markham. Yeah, no, I believe they're part of it. When you get into Richmond Hill, it becomes a separate city. Not 100% sure on the York region, but
okay.
I do know even with an accessible permit. So if you have an accessible permit, unlike in the city of Toronto, so in the city of Toronto, you can park where there's no parking.
Correct.
But you still can't. There's still conditions to that.
You cannot obstruct the flow of traffic. So say it's like a narrow one-way street, one side of the street's no parking. This has happened before.
Oh no, I laughed about it the other day. I was literally on a street that said, and I'm like, there's no way.
Oh.
So there's parked cars and it's like it's supposed to be a two-way street.
Yeah.
But there's no parking sign. I'm like, so in theory, an accessible permit could park right here and no one moves.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Actually, a police officer called me because they were there on an unrelated investigation. And someone complained about a car there. There was like a garbage truck, a wheels trans that couldn't get down the street. So I took over the tow for the police officer. And I had a group of people just started yelling at me because they're like, that's like a little old lady's car. She had trouble walking. She's in at the doctor's office. And I'm like, I'm here under like the police officer's request. So I'm sorry, but not sorry. Like you still can't block the whole road. And yeah.
Well, Erin, on behalf of all police officers, if you're going to take over my tow, I'm very appreciative.
Yeah.
Because nothing, I'll be honest with you, drove me nuts. I could care less to tow cars because it just took forever.
Yeah, I hate towing cars. I'm not gonna lie.
Fill the tow card, put the impound, and blah, blah. So in future, I will remember that when I'm back on the road at some point, I'm going to be like, can someone give me Erin here? She's going to tow this car for me. And I also loved your impression of the neighborhood and the little old lady and stuff. I also got to say, I got a flashback the way you said my fiance. You familiar with Seinfeld?
Oh yeah.
Yes, there's the whole episode of My Fiance.
Yeah.
My Fiance.
Yeah.
I love the way you said it. I had this flashback. It's one of the earlier episodes. I think it's like season 1. It's like George Costanza and they're at this house party. But yeah.
I love George.
Yeah, because I just know even with you got to be careful with accessible permits because in the city of Toronto, like Erin was saying, you can park at no parking. You cannot park at a no standing or no stopping.
Bike lane. There's a lot of So the way I outline it to people, if you have an accessible permit in Toronto, you do not have to pay for on-street parking. On-street, the lots, green P lots, different story. I believe you still have to pay.
So the municipal green P parking, I have to pay.
In the
you
lots,
have to pay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. But on the street, if you have your accessible permit, you're exempt from the payment and the no parking area. So those are the two major big exemptions. And everything else, I'm like, just use caution. Or educate yourself on what you can and can't do with the permit because essentially you are liable and responsible for that permit and the exemptions. And I believe it comes in a whole package. When you get the permit, it outlines it for you, but you can also just Google it. It's very easy, gives you all the exemptions.
It comes with a pamphlet.
Pamphlet,
yeah.
Package,
but I also
pamphlet,
know, just so you're aware, we're in the city of Toronto, so what she says goes in the city of Toronto. However, if you're, for instance, in that Niagara region, you have to park in a parking spot. So not like there's no parking, you can't just park there. You have to find yourself a parking spot, and then you don't have to park. Then you don't have to pay. However, if you're in York region, I believe, because I made this phone call the other day, that they told me no matter where I park, I pay for parking.
Oh, yeah.
Which was interesting. They're like, because I'm like, accessible permit parking. No, you have to park.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Different municipalities, different rules everywhere.
So yeah, just be aware when you're going somewhere else. And I know we're talking a lot about accessible permits. I'm not quite sure why, but we're having this conversation. If you're going to cross the border, your accessible permit in general is accepted, but make sure with that local municipality, wherever you are, that you do check. And we have a good morning as a retired detective, 27 years of service, 24 at 55 division, 3 years at
1500 Don Mills. That's where I did my testing.
Good morning, John. Thank you so much for reaching out. We appreciate that.
I haven't check the TikTok chat in a
so
hot sec.
Someone just asked Dom Pereira, I got a ticket for 75 in a 60, but the cop stated I was doing 80. Will the original speed be documented in their notes? Pretty much, I can guarantee you that it would be. So what they did is in theory, they did you a favor by dropping it down to a lesser. so that you don't get as many points and stuff. But yes, so for instance, if you were to say you're going to take that to court, so they dropped you to 15 not to get you the points, 20 would have got you points. And if you take that to court, the courts can ask that it goes back to the original speed if you were to challenge that ticket. If the speed limit on the 401 is 110, why does everyone drive 130? Are we allowed to drive 20 kilometers over the speed limit? No. The moment you are in theory going 1 kilometer, and it's not theory, it's obviously up to officers' discretion. So if the speed limit is 100, that is the maximum. That's what the sign clearly says is maximum. Speed limit 100. If you were going 1 kilometer over, are you breaking the law? Yes. Are you going to get in general pulled over? Highly unlikely, right? Most officers are looking, especially on a highway like that, they're looking for the car that is probably driving dangerously, is driving way above the speed limit, is going to attract their attention. However, realize, and this is something I was taught really early on, is I'm like a fisherman. I cast out my fishing rod, and I can only hook so many fish. So if I catch you, you can't then come complain and say, well, the other car was doing 130. Well, they didn't get caught, but you did, and you were still speeding. You're still breaking the law, so you're the one who's going to get in trouble. But yeah, general discretion of different officers is what it is. Depending to if it's school zone, I would tell you my discretion would be less because it's usually like a posted 30. So if you're doing 40 over, you're still doing 10 over. It may not be points, but you're still, the infraction is there though. And so I would still charge you. However, in general, I would have told you, I would have gone for 16 over because I wanted the 3 points. And then I was like, okay, you already know you're pushing it. So here you are. Linda is good morning, heroes. Love you all. I think that comment's directed to you, but I will gladly take that as a hero as well. Erin's my hero for coming on the show with me today and putting up with this. It's actually really great to have someone to kind of banter with, or at least look over to my left and have someone there.
So I'm like not paying attention, I'm looking at your questions. Okay.
I appreciate that because otherwise I'd sit here by myself. And honestly, I'm a people person, not a person. That's weird.
I'll be your emotional support human on the show.
I love that. You know what? If I knew anything about editing video afterwards, I would totally use that and edit that for my own personal social media. But yeah, if you don't know, you can find Erin. She is very active on social media. You can find her at
TPS bike card. It's on the screen there, I believe still. I don't know. Is that still up?
Yeah, no, that would still be up. I haven't taken it down, and I'm going to probably leave it there because I like it there because you can already see my name. People should know your name. If you're looking for me on Twitter and X, I'm most active on X, and then everything just kind of gets put through there. I am Star Wars Cop on Instagram. I am the Star Wars Cop. If you're wondering why the change, I would love to have one thing that goes through everything, but my X account was my original account, and I was always Star Wars Cop. Someone took my name on Instagram, and I've challenged them a million times on this. That account doesn't get used, but they're Star Wars Cop there. So I am the Star Wars Cop. Essentially the same person. If you don't see my picture of this, only a mother can love face. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, you would see me. So.
Okay, got a question here because this person's dropped this question like multiple times. Can a cop legally arrest or charge me if I taunt while driving by revving?
So if you're revving,
well, revving can also. Can I answer this because I feel like I know.
Go ahead. We're here for it.
Can't they be arrested or charged for unnecessary noise for like?
Yeah, we wouldn't arrest them for unnecessary noise.
Charge them.
Yeah,
at least
it's $110 ticket, and I've done it before. I'll be honest with you. I even had a car pulled over one time, and I'm talking to the driver, and this guy drives by me, and it was just ridiculously loud that I could not hear. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like stuck pulling up to a light. So I'm like, he's right there. Mm-hmm. I honestly gave the guy I was talking to a caution and went after the unnecessary noise and gave him a ticket. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, you can't hear anything. How would you hear emergency vehicle if they're coming and they're approaching, right? You put not only yourself, but others at risk. You set up potentially delays to responding to a call. Yeah, no. But yes, if you're revving, look, if you're, I'm not sure what you mean by taunting, but if you're talking about the revving alone, yes, it could be unnecessary noise. That could be a ticket. So I'm going to tell you just to be cautious with how you decide to, I'm going to taunt somebody, especially a police officer, because usually it doesn't always lead to a great day.
Yeah.
So if I have a green vehicle, Tesla, but not a green plate, can I still have the HOV? But you would get a green plate.
Yeah, so it's actually funny you brought that up because one of my coworkers was telling me that they saw a Tesla out on the road and it didn't have a green plate. It had the blue, like, and it didn't start with a G either. It wasn't like a G,
I'm gonna have to look
VH,
into that.
whatever.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe if it's personal, I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that. I'll have to look into that
yeah.
because
I was
my
interested
assumption
in that.
was green vehicle gets green plate, drives the HOV. Because I see it all the time. I'm like, why is that guy single? Like, I just quickly like look over. I'm like, there's no one else in that car except for the driver. And then I realize, oh, it's a Tesla or it's a electric vehicle. And so yes, an electric vehicle can drive in the HOV lanes. Beyond someone who should have other people inside of it, because I find people go in and out of the HOV lanes all the time. I got a ticket for obstructed license plates. Will it be on my record? Will this affect my insurance? It's a charge. Will it go on your record? Yes. Will it affect your insurance? You need to have that discussion with your insurance company. It's not points. However, I'm going to tell you, depending to how many offenses you are convicted of, can it affect your insurance? Yes. And if you don't know about obstructed plates, essentially your plate is to be on its own, not with a plate cover, nothing over it, not even a little rim that says whatever dealership you bought it from. And I don't know why, I'll be honest with you, unless you truly love your dealership, why you would give them free advertisement 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when you're driving. I'll tell you, like, I don't mind my dealership, and in general, I've had pretty good service, but I put Star Wars plate. Let's be serious. I did put Star Wars ones, but yeah, is it technically obstructing the plate? Yes. I would tell you obstructing the plate would have to be, I couldn't see the numbers clearly, but even if you put one of those white plastic shells over it, the plastic itself, the actual frame itself, is not the illegal thing. It's when you affix it to the plate that becomes an issue. And yes, you can get a charge for $110. It's no different than if, for instance, you get snow on your rear bumper of your pickup and you decide not to clean the snow off and I can't see your plate, you'd get a ticket for that as well. And please don't ever think you can go in there with a blue magic marker and bring that plate back to life. Don't get it replaced. That. Yeah.
I've seen
right.
That.
I think most plates, for the most part, in the province of Ontario, have a 5-year warranty on them. So if there's a defect, and there was a defect in them probably over a decade ago, they went to a supplier, the supplier at the time, where the sticker, so what holds the numbers over place on the embossed metal, was peeling off pretty badly, and you would have had within 5 years to remove them, and you would have had 5 years to have those plates replaced. So yeah, and beyond that, I think it's maybe $65 to have your plates. Don't quote me on that, but you can look into it. Can you have tinted headlights? I see that from you, Dylan. Can you have tinted headlights? No. They must be white. White lights project to the front. The only time you can have a white light to your rear is when you're in reverse or you have a plate light. That's the only white lights. Otherwise, you have to have red beyond your signal lights. And we all know what signal lights are, because people seem to find a challenge on pushing that little switch to go left or a signal they're going right. But it's an offense if you don't. If you're going to impede traffic, you have to put this blinker on. And I know sometimes your blinker fluid is empty. You can buy that stuff at your local, like, Canadian Tire. I'm kidding about the blinker fluid. And I'm looking at Erin. Erin's just trying to keep up with the conversation.
Yeah, I see Sean chimed in there. He answered a question. The green plates give you the access to the lane.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate that.
Are you allowed to keep a car insured in London, Ontario, use it daily, and have it stored in Toronto?
That's a question to have with your insurance company.
Yeah.
Are you trying to beat the insurance rates?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you're supposed to have it wherever you're registered to your home, because your insurance company might ask some questions, especially if you seem to be getting a lot of offenses in Toronto, but your car's registered to London. I know at one time that was going to become a big thing, because they were talking about the city wanted to tax every vehicle in the city of Toronto on their. So any vehicle that was registered to the city of Toronto, one time they were taxing it, and they did. And I think we had to go get an exemption if you're, like, for instance, a police officer and you're coming from outside, but you're still in Toronto. And yeah. So you're going to want to talk to your insurance company about that. Sean would tell you it sounds like insurance fraud. I'm going to give that a big nod. But yeah, you're going to want to tell I know, well, you're probably not going to have that conversation with your insurance company because you've probably been avoiding them. But yeah, there's greater issues there.
That Eric Bozak, you should read that. That one's good. I've actually never read that question or heard
I
that
saw
question
someone
before.
driving with their hood completely removed. Is that illegal? not smart but illegal?
That's a good question.
That's a good question because I don't actually know the answer to that because I've seen those. So I see those old, like the classic vehicles, and they don't have a hood, and they're showing off like there's like amazingly done engine.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe Sean can
I feel
trip
like
up
it would
in
be
the,
like a safety inspection thing, like when in today's modern cars, like I don't know, you don't got a hood.
But everything's intact. Not every, like
Yeah.
I don't know the safety. Like, yeah.
That was an interesting question. I like that.
My bike has no pedal, and I got pulled over 2 times because of that. I'm going to install a pedal.
Like a bicycle?
Sorry, your bicycle. Sorry, Nadeem.
What?
Your bike has no pedal. I got pulled over 2 times because that. I'm going to install a pedal. If I'm assuming a bicycle, like if you watch Erin's videos, Erin's on a bicycle. Are we talking you have one pedal? So like you're constantly moving with your like left foot and your right foot just hangs out there?
That's gotta be. I'm trying to picture.
I'm going to be honest with you, Nadeem. I kind of want to see a video of you pedaling with one foot. And I don't mean that like offensive to anyone, but like that's just interesting to me that you'd pedal with one pedal. If you're talking an e-bike, yeah, you're going to get pulled over because your e-bike has to have, that's an e-bike, it has to have pedals to it.
Yeah.
So yeah. What will happen if you drive, if someone drives with no license? I think it's $365 and you get a drive with no license ticket. And what happens is if you've never had a license, the government will happily create a driver's license number for you. And so that'll stick with you. So if you were to go get insurance the next day, you would end up thing. Yeah. Sean, voiceover cops asking the same things. Are we talking e-bikes? So yeah. Yeah. So Sean was asking, so in reference to the hood on top of a car, he says old vehicles may be grandfathered. And so that explains why. So yes, it sounds like you would need have to have a hood. However, if your vehicle, depending to the vintage of it, it may be grandfathered because some of them are just show cars and stuff, right? So they're not constantly on the road to begin with. And you wouldn't want them out in, say, the rain or whatever, or in the weather conditions. I think Erin, I got a question for you, so I can stop talking for a minute. Thank you, Carl. Is there an interview for parking enforcement, and what questions do they ask?
Well, yes, there is an interview. Even if I did know the questions, I would not tell you because that's not right. Takes away from the challenge of actually going through the interview process. But I was hired 9 years ago, and the entire interview and hiring process has completely changed. But yes, there is an interview, and that is one of the further stages. So you have to apply, need to get your OECP certificate. And if you get selected for an interview, you have to pass the interview, and then you move on to the next stages. But you can look into all of that on tps.ca/careers under parking enforcement. We currently are not hiring right now. There is no job call or job opportunity for parking enforcement right now, but we do hire yearly a couple times. I couldn't tell you when the next time is, but if you look online and you follow the TPS recruiting social media websites, they will tell you whenever we are actively hiring or wanting parking enforcement officers.
And I threw it up on the screen if you're wondering what exactly the website is, tps.ca/careers. That would be our talent and acquisition unit.
Yes.
They'd be more than happy to hear from you. I didn't realize we weren't hiring parking enforcement thing. I thought it was kind of like an ongoing.
No, so I believe like we have a class in training right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
I thought you were going to say like 9 years ago they hired me, and beyond that, like they broke the mold because that was it.
Well, they did go on a hiring freeze after my class.
See,
So.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Did you set that precedent where there's just like, yeah, we don't need anyone else. We got Erin, folks. We got Erin.
Yeah, so. It actually was pretty good.
Kept
a lot of areas open for patrolling to get tickets.
That's awesome. But in folks in general, if you're looking for a career within the Toronto Police, both civilian or uniform, you can look at tps.ca/careers. I know my predecessor, Sean, was always big on it. And I know there's a big news story about how we've been hiring and we've been bringing down, it's been all over the news today. So like I listen to multiple radio stations at different times, not all at the same time. And the topic of conversation has been our 911 response time. So when we pick up a phone, it's gone from, I think, 58 seconds to about 39 seconds. The same part of that is the hiring, which we've definitely, we are actively hiring for folks for 911. And if you don't know, our 911 communicators are amazing individuals. I would tell you they're truly the front line because they take that initial call before it gets to me. And they are filtering, getting as much information of value to me as they can as an officer who would be responding to what we call our primary response units. So when you call 911, you don't speak to an officer, you speak to a civilian 911 communicator who's extremely well trained to be doing what they do, and they do incredible things, and all the credit to them. I wouldn't be able to do it. I think my hardest challenge to it would be receiving the call and knowing I can't myself do anything about it,
Yeah.
and trying to like talk someone through a situation that is potentially life-threatening, or they've seen something that can never be unseen. Because even for me, for all the training I have in the world, I wouldn't be able to, there are certain things I will never unsee, kind of thing. So thank you so much for that question. Again, it's up on the thing. I can put Erin's name back up because I really want you to know who Erin is all the time. But yeah, tps.ca/careers. So yeah. Can I drive in the HLV lane with my kid in the back, or does it require a passenger in the front? No. As long as you have a passenger, you're fine. I'm going to ask that. If your kid's in the back, depending on how old your child is, we just last week had the child safety. So you want to make sure your child's in it proper. So depending to their age and weight, there's variable factors, whether or not they're in a car seat of some sort or they're in a booster seat. But yeah, no, as long as you have another passenger in the vehicle, you are fine to drive in the HLV lane. Erin, I just put your name back up because I like it up there. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
MJ says, thanks a lot, sir. I'm hoping you're talking to me, but I'm trying my best to keep up with it. Yeah, someone else is already answering you, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the folks in our chat who answer some of the questions because it's hard for me to keep up, especially when I have an awesome guest to keep me going, to help me see things. So yeah. Oh, and Sean also, yeah. If you're, for the person who asked about what happens if you drive with no license, yeah, your insurance or whoever's insurance is in general not going to cover that because thing. And Akila is saying that Sean's Force Ghost is here. Yeah, and Sean's just not leaving. We've kept him in here. We've locked him up. We have him in a secure facility. It was just his fan base was getting out of control and stuff, so we had to keep him. And in case the zombie apocalypse happens, we need all of that knowledge. So, can you have your phone on your lap but not using it? What do you think, Erin?
No.
So as long as you don't touch it.
Like if you're driving, and
if you're driving,
it's
there.
Keep it on your lap, and you're not going to look down at it.
Yeah, it's also going to be distracting because now I don't know why you would have it on your lap.
Never mind that it can fall off your lap. It can slip underneath the brake or gas pedal.
I like it. Erin.
That's what because it's happened.
There you go. So yeah, don't do it because it could be distracting because you're going to be looking down at it. I don't know why else you would have your cell phone on. Like I'll tell you, if you don't have for instance, a holder on your dash, like some people do. I know I have it plugged to my windshield. I put it in the glove compartment, but that's only if I'm looking at a GPS. Otherwise, I don't care what else is going on the phone. But yeah, courts have supported your lap as a use. Nope. Courts is yep. So Sean is saying that nope. So it's kind of building upon what we were saying. Don't leave it in your side. Don't even leave it in your lap. He's saying the courts have supported it lap use. Oh, thank you, Carl. I appreciate it. Sean, don't look at that comment. If I'm in the HLV lane and want to drive the speed limit, can I be charged with impeding traffic? No. If you're driving the speed limit, no. You're probably going to irritate people behind you because they're just everyone thinks their own special person has to get somewhere more important than you. But if you're driving the speed limit, no, you're not going to get impeding traffic. If you slow down, so if you're doing 80 and 100, yes, you can get it. And it actually carries 2 points if you didn't know that. Sean thinks I saw that comment. He's laughing out loud. Oh, I appreciate Akela putting in some dad jokes there. I have been slow on my dad jokes. But yeah, I will look at those afterwards.
I'm just trying to catch up.
It says, someone says, if the vehicle is insured, then you can drive, but whether the insurance covers you in an accident is up to the company. So if the vehicle is insured, however, if you knowingly put someone into that vehicle who is does not have a driver's license, I don't believe the vehicle, I believe you'd be contradicting some of the stipulations in that insurance if you knowingly put someone into that.
Oh, here's a good question.
Can people on scooters,
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Just because I was trying to keep up with it. Sorry. Can people on scooters or bicycles go through a red light if the pedestrian light is on?
No. No. If they're on the road, no. And they do it all the time.
Thank you, Erin,
Oh.
as the bike heart person. No. So if you dismount your bike
Walk
and
it.
act as a pedestrian,
Mhm.
yes, you can follow the walk pedestrian thing, but that's what you're supposed to be doing. And if you're on a bicycle and you're on the roadway, you are a vehicle and are to respect the same rules as any other vehicle out there. So you should be stopped at the red light. However, if you're a pedestrian, you're just walking your bike because you're out walking your bike, maybe you're tired of cycling, then yes, you could cross with everyone else. Sean says the owner is responsible for ensuring the driver is both in license and not violating their conditions. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Let's double down on that one.
The person, they're like, oops, I'll stop now. Dismounting is easy. It is easy. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Especially if I don't want to wait at a certain light. I get off my bike and I cross.
Yeah, and I teach
on
bike.
The crosswalk.
That's one of the stages I teach in a bike road. Actually, speaking of bike roads, Erin, if you ever want to come out to one, we'll have to talk to. I think you'd be awesome to see you to come out to one.
I'll do it. Yeah.
So I teach kids. I don't teach you foundations cycling. Like I'm not there to teach you the beginnings of cycling and getting on a bike. But what I do is I build up those foundations. So I teach you, your arm signals, stuff like that. And actually, one of the stages is dismounting your bike. So you come up to a pedestrian crosswalk because kids are riding on their bikes. So in the city of Toronto, under the age of 14, you can ride your bike on the sidewalk. And so when you come up to, you're crossing an intersection and you've been on the sidewalk, so you're acting as a pedestrian, you still need to dismount your bike and cross it. No different from a crosswalk. You activate the lights to go cross a pedestrian crossover or whatnot. You have to activate it and you're going to dismount your bike and walk across. I know my kids don't. So when we go riding, dad stays on the thing because I'm also a larger guy. I will ride on the street. The kids will stay on the sidewalk and they will dismount their bike and walk across. Things to know. Sorry, did you have a question earlier?
No, it was something I just caught that was like a decent. It was like, what's the speed limit? What speed turns into stunt driving? I know the answer to that, but
go ahead. Since you are all knowledgeable,
it's after 140 kilometers. Turns into stunt driving.
Sean, you want to jump into that one? It depends on the area.
On a highway, or I guess, it's depending on the speed limit. Okay, so highway, I'm thinking highway. 140?
150?
150?
Sean, you want to jump in on this? I feel like I should bring in Sean. But yeah, so it would be 50, but it depends on what it is too. So if you're in there's a bunch of stipulations. So I'll be honest with you, I'm not always the most familiar with everything traffic. I used to be a traffic complaints officer, but I focused in on certain things. Sean's like laughing out loud, sure. I used to focus in on certain things. So I was a traffic complaints officer. If you don't know what traffic complaints officers are, so if you call your local division, what happens is you can tell them, hey, I have cars that aren't stopping at the stop sign, and you kind of give them a time, like between 9 and 10 a.m., no one seems to stop at the stop sign. Someone like me in the past would have driven there, I would have parked. And if you're thinking I'm going to be obvious, most times I would be, because honestly, I would sit out there sometimes to be obvious. In general, all my stop signs, I was always obvious because I wanted you to understand I was out there and how bad your behavior was. The fact that you would go through. What I always loved is the folks who drive right through the stop sign and midway through that intersection, then look over and realize I'm there. And I'm like, by that point, it's too late. It is too late. Mm-hmm. And I always loved it. Like, I'll be honest with you. I have over 18 years of service. When I first got on, we didn't have in-car cameras, but since in-car cameras came out, I was like, this is amazing because take me to court. It's not my word versus your word, because I would always love people who challenge me on it. I'm like, the in-car camera is going to get it. And then, now even our conversation afterwards comes up on my body worn camera. So yeah, Sean has helped out. It is 40 kilometers. It is 40 over if the limit is under 80. It is 50 over if the limit is 80 and above. 150 anywhere. There you go. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you come in, and I appreciate you got this time in your retirement to come on to my show and not completely abandon me, because I am going through some abandonment issues, but my therapist says we'll work through it. Can special constables stop you for HTA violations?
No, they can't. I know they can do traffic direction, but they cannot stop you for HTA.
Correct. So only a police officer, so a uniformed police officer, can make that thing. It's something we talk about with bylaw and stuff, because everyone's talking about this, not stopping inside the box. So it's a bylaw currently. However, bylaw officers don't actually have the authority to stop a vehicle, to initiate that stop. So yeah.
So it would have to be a police officer.
Correct.
To lay that charge.
Trying to. I'm about to just finish up my G2. What advice can you give me? Obey those traffic laws.
Yeah.
That would be probably the best advice. Don't be like many of the drivers we see out there. I don't know what's gone on with driving the last few years, and I don't know how people are still in for insurance, but rapid, poor driving behavior that's out there. And our folks are giving out a lot of infractions, and yet I still see it on a constant basis. People who don't understand stop signs say one thing: stop. Nothing else. They're not stoptional. They're not like, oh, that kid is like half a block away, I can just make my way through. No, you need to come to a full and complete stop. What that means is your wheels must stop being in motion. It's a very simple thing, but sometimes it seems very challenging to folks. And I see it way too often. And I always feel like I am someone who comes to a full and complete stop. And I always feel like I'm about to get rear-ended at sometimes.
Yeah.
Just like when you're pulling up to a red light, it is a full and complete stop. Regardless of whether or not you're about to make that right turn, it is a red solid light. You are to come to a full and complete stop and then make that right turn when it is safe to do so. Not, well, I'm just making a right turn, I'm going to slow down and go through. No, I've given that ticket out before because I'm just going up to a red light. And I just watched the guy in front of me make the right turn. He's like, well, I was just making a right turn. No, it's a red light. You need to come to a full and complete stop, then proceed. Yeah, you need to come to a full and complete stop at stop signs. Red lights are the same. There's never a time where it is optional, where you believe I can just make it through. No, it's unsafe, and please don't do it. Both of them carry 3 points, $110, and most likely you're going to take it to court, and then you're going to watch video and explain in court how you didn't see the solid red light. Who can enforce tickets for stopping in the middle of the lights downtown? Police officers right now. So it's a bylaw, but police officers can right now. You've been seeing a lot of it. The city has raised a whole bunch of the fines to start deterring people. I know the mayor has talked about having an automated system that does that, which I would think, I'll be honest with you, I think is a fantastic idea. We're tied up doing so many things, staffing wise and resources wise, that having it automated so that, it catches you, the light goes red and everybody inside that. I'll be honest with you, it makes me think of the Squid Game, when the little girl turns around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just I'm not saying like shoot people.
Red light.
Red light. Not like the Squid Game that way, but that it automatically tickets everyone in that and you get your ticket in 4 to 6 weeks at home. I think is a fantastic idea. We need to stop it. And it blows my mind that people think, well, when I started to go through, I thought I'd get through. No, if you know you can't complete it, you're not to enter that intersection. You have to know that you can complete the intersection. So if you're going north, you need to know that you can get onto the other side before proceeding through. Not, well, I'm going to judge it. Maybe the lights are going to last a little bit longer. Please don't do that. So yeah, we're coming up to 10:58.
Oh my goodness, that hour flew by. Well, I guess
we were 50
minutes because we started at 10 after.
10 after. I'm not quite sure. We're going to have to check your watch there, Erin. I think we were like 8 after, but no. Folks, we're going to be on again this week. I'm going to drag Erin out and put her back on the show because I really appreciate having someone to work with, and it's been fantastic having you on, Erin. And we're going to do a dad joke because that seems to be what I had inherited, was dad jokes were a thing. So I don't want to completely change that show. So why was the chauffeur droid so tired? It had a hard drive. Hold on.
Knee slapper.
There you go. Thank you, Akila. I appreciate that. And Akila has a quote: "Rules are not necessarily sacred; principles are." I like that, Franklin Roosevelt.
I like that.
It's very good. It's very good. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to tune out now. Is that what I? Is that how
do we not? I guess we don't do the traffic song anymore. Do you know how to do that yet?
Traffic song? I don't know which is that. I think that's this button. Hold on.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. We're
now
listen
it
to the
feels like
song.
the closing of the show.
Okay. Apparently, this was done by an officer here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I muted our bikes. Just.
I think you're the only ones who hear the song. Shanique. I don't think they can hear it.
Can anyone else?
Did anyone else hear that, or was that just
that
us?
song? You can't hear it. Okay, so what you're watching is just me and Erin singing along. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure that part out.
That's funny.
I'm not 100% sure
Oh.
what happened there. Moderator, I'm gonna test it out again. Give me a heads up of whether or not it works.
Just turn them all on. Oh.
Moderator, can you hear us?
Nope.
Okay, so we're not going to play that song.
Okay, that's my bad. I shouldn't have brought it up. We don't know how to work things yet.
Anyways, folks, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. For myself, Peter De Quintal, and
Erin
my partner.
Urquhart.
Excellent. Follow Erin on social media. She's awesome. She'll tell you all about her day and the many infractions, and is in general just awesome to be around. If you really want to hear about different things, I don't talk a whole lot about policing from time to time on mine. I am Star Wars Cop, and thank you to the voiceover cop, my predecessor. Do any of the sound effects work? I don't know, Sean. When I press the buttons, they work. Okay, at least you can hear us.
We'll
and
figure
so
it out.
we want to say thank you so much to everyone, and take care. And I hope you have a great day. Drive safely. And if you can, this is going to become my Bob Barker thing. If you can donate blood and you are eligible to donate, please. The need is always great, and you can make the difference in a single donation to 3 individuals in your life. Take care. All the best.